Literally everyone online is just talking about how Kung Fu Panda 4 is mediocre, and I personally think it's a complete mess. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's like a 3 out of 10, because at least it has decent animation, but I just ended with my positives of this movie. Now let me get into my negative. The pacing is way too fast. It feels like I'm blind in some scenes. I think they should have just kept the pacing that the other films had, but this is a common thing that not only DreamWorks films have, but also in other recent animated films. I'll let this one slide and not make it count because of it being an ongoing problem with the pacing of new animated films anyways. The next thing I'm going to talk about doesn't really technically count as spoilers because we can already see this in the trailer of the film, so I'm just going to talk about it. Po is very silly and goofy. It looks like the character development we had in the previous films is literally all gone. I even think Kung Fu Panda 3 made a big change to Po as a character. You can even see this in the trailers. Also, when he's trying to find the inner peace in the trailer and the movie, we can see he gets distracted very easily. This was a problem Po was having in the second film, but he ended up finding it in the battle of the same film. Why can't he find it now? I know maybe a lot of times has passed, but considering in the trailer he's trying to be something better than a dragon warrior, he should overcome it easily. And I'm especially frustrated when he's trying to find inner peace, and his inner voices are just making him lose control. His inner voices are literally so annoying. If anything, Po should actually be wiser in this film, but I guess he isn't. I'm gonna now talk about the Awkwafina Fox spoilers, so skip to this time in the video to go back to the spoiler-free section. But, for the ones who actually have seen the film, I have a very big opinion on this character. The Awkwafina Fox might be one of the most annoying characters I've seen in the Kung Fu Panda universe. She's very hyperactive, fast, and I don't like her at all. She also ends up being someone who was on the chameleon side. To be completely honest, I really don't give a And after this, she's all like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can I go back to your side, Po?" Like if she didn't give a about the chameleon or what just happened. It would have been better if she were the real villain and the chameleon was working for her. That would have made a completely sick twist. Because all the attempts of trying to have an emotional talk with Po never worked, I guess I never liked this character. I really have nothing to say about the chameleon. She's the most boring villain this franchise has seen. And the only thing I have to say about her is who she connects to as a character. Look. See, all the villains connected to a protagonist except her. Shifu was connected to Tai Lung, Lord Shen was connected to Po, and Ugoi was connected to Kai. Who does the chameleon connect to? Skip to this time frame for no spoilers, it's just for a few seconds. I just want to quickly say, to the ones who have seen the movie, even if the chameleon found Awkwafina Fox hasn't been an ongoing, important character. Therefore, it doesn't really matter as a connection to the chameleon. I'm also going to talk a bit about the appearance of... Wait. What is Po's dad's name? Oh! Well, I'll just call him Panda Dad then. Anyways, this won't count as a spoiler because there is a clip to do with this which you can watch on YouTube, and I'll link it in the description if you want to watch it. Anyways, Mr. Ping and Panda Dad both go on a quest to find Po because they're scared for his fight against the chameleon. I think this side plot adds completely nothing to the main plot. Like, they could be using good time to focus on the main plot, but I guess they were too busy taking care of this completely useless Honestly, I'd like this side plot, but when the two characters do absolutely no emotional compelling things, that's when it gets useless and maybe even boring. Spoilers to the ending. Go to this time to go back to spoiler free. Zen is the one that defeats the chameleon with one of the powers Po used previously in the film, which is sad considering the movie's protagonist is Po. I'm not saying Po is the one that has to defeat the villain, but considering he came all the way just to fight him, he just ends up doing nothing and just makes me sad. I think the only one and only thing that can make this sequel the same level as the third was if Uruguay came and were the one fighting the chameleon. That right there would have been completely insane and cool. Or maybe if Tai Lung turned bad again and tried to attack Po, but then Master Shifu came and could have come and fought Tai Lung. Both of those things could have been like perfect. And considering Master Shifu was still alive, that could have been a possible thing, but whatever. I personally think that this film is more unnecessary than Toy Story 4. While Toy Story 4 is still one of the most annoying animated films that added nothing to its franchise, I think this one damages this franchise even more. You know, at least Toy Story 4 had emotional scenes, brought back old characters, and still gave the same sense of nostalgia that the other films had. What does this film give? Literally, if you think about it, the exact opposite of what I just said. I think Toy Story 5 still has a pretty reasonable reason to exist. There's an entire fandom waiting for it. Lastly, before I conclude, I just want to say that the decision of this film not having the Furious 5 literally offends me too much. The Furious 5 is what made the Kung Fu Panda films still be at least decent and stable films. The Furious 5 in this movie already gives me 5 points to give. Unless they were extremely annoying and obnoxious like Po in this film, I would give anything for them to be here. Sometimes, in the Kung Fu Panda films, Po could actually be silly in them. And the Furious 5 is what made all the silliness go away and step into the seriousness part of these films. If you didn't know, Kung Fu Panda is always supposed to have 6 films, and they're still planning that out. And if that does end up being the case, I'm not going to watch 5 or 6. They have no reason to exist, and they'll probably just focus on the Aquafina Fox, and probably just Po dying and becoming like some type of Uruguay or something. That'll be boring, trust me. You know, this is a very unnecessary sequel and added nothing to the Kung Fu Panda franchise, being one of the most unnecessary sequels of all time, at least in the animation genre. 3 out of 10. The animation is okay, and I like the backgrounds too, but just not my cup of tea, I'm sorry. Please comment down below your expectations or thoughts on this film, or any of the other films. Remember, your opinion is very important to me. I love replying, liking, and featuring your comments in upcoming videos. Bye now!